Welcome to the Nokia Masters here at Mannings Heath. I am joined as ever by John E. Morgan. John, you've been out on the course. What do you think of the setup this week?
Beautiful. Greens are amazing. I mean, the players are loving life out here, Kit. You know, whatever they're looking at, they're fancying their chances of holding it, but they're really topsy-turvy greens as well. Lots of slope on them. The rain's causing havoc. Wind's kicking up as well to boot. Course is pretty generous, so I think the opening holes as well, I think they can get seriously under par, get the momentum going. I think the par threes are a massive standout for me. I think they're beautiful. You know, you've got 5, 10 and 14 absolute pearlers out there, and they're not long beats as well. They're little ones, but they're fiddly, and the wind swirling as well can really catch them out, and I think we're in for a good finish.
Yeah, scoring's been great. We've had a 62, 63, 64s. Just to put things in context, John, in the final round, the wind is up, the checks are on the line. What would be a good score out there today?
I'd say 6 under. You're over the moon. You're ecstatic. You know, you're doing cartwheels.
Perfect. Well, we're all set for the final round, so let's hand you over to your commentary team.
Thanks, lads. Yes, this closing round is teed up nicely. There's no doubt Fennec's been the star of the show thus far. He's one of 6 Scots on the leaderboard after 36 holes. But this Nokia Masters remains absolutely wide open. Who will be the man at Mannings Heath? We don't know. But after rounds of 66, then 69, don't write off Ryan Campbell.
Here is Campbell at the first. Short birdie putt. Good approach here, just about 5 feet. A little bit right to left. That's a lovely way to start the day.
Now leader Neil Fennec, his tee shot on the first. As you can see, the umbrellas are up, the wind's blowing. It's a tough day, Scott.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging for these players, depending how much rain we get, but the wind's certainly a factor around this course. Bounces around off the trees. Here we see the slow-mo of Fennec. Solid player. Good simple technique. Just about keeping it in control today. Not overstretching yourself.
Yes, I think experience is definitely gonna help. Now following his birdie on the first, Ryan Campbell launching one down the second, which with the aid of the wind has become almost drivable, this par 4.
On the first, Kit is with the ball of James Ross.
Not the ideal start for James Ross. He's pulled his opening tee shot. Lucky in one sense, he's just past this tree that Frank the cameraman is stood right in the middle of, but he is here in the rough. The ball is going to be way above his feet. He's going to have to choke down. Only 88 yards, but there's overhanging branches in front as well. If he can get clean contact, he could just chase one up onto the front edge, but all uphill. If he plays it low and through this wet grass, he's going to have to go at it quite hard.
Yeah, quite a challenge here. Not really what you want on the opening hole. Sometimes you just got to give it a good bash, hope for the best. That looks to have come out pretty well, chasing up towards the flag.
You can see wide stance to maintain his balance. Early wrist break on the way back to make sure he doesn't get too much grass between the club and the ball. And there we could see the ball scooting away. It looks pretty good.
Neil Fennec so far has been exceptional. A 62 in the first round, featuring 10 birdies. But today, well, not the start he wanted.
Well, I think that's one of the unmentionables there. It's good that he can have a laugh about it, but he'll be hurting inside with that one.
Yeah, that was a real good one, Scott. Almost at 45 degrees. As we're across to Ryan Campbell, his little chip up the second green. And doing pretty well. In fact, doing very well, really, because the water on the greens is slowing the ball down.
It's an all-Scottish 3-ball, this, the final group. Ross, Campbell, Fennec.
Yeah, guys are dominating this week. Let's see what today brings. That's a lovely pitch, just running out of pace. A little bit of work to do. Now Fennec, after that shank from the middle of the first fairway. Try and dig this one back onto the green. This would be a unbelievable part. Well, he's given himself a chance. Just about 12, 13 feet for par there on the first.
In conditions like this, par is your friend, Gary, but Ryan Campbell's got the chance to start birdie.
Yes, Phil, he certainly has. And this one, if he just keeps it inside the edge of the hole, And he has, and as you can see, disappeared. Birdie, birdie. Whew.
Yeah, that's a dream start. Now Fennec, this for his part. Not a lot of movement in this putt. Just got to give it a good positive stroke. Oh, a little bit tentative. Just wandered offline, and that's not the start he was hoping for. Just plenty of time to regroup.
Well, after his trials and tribulations in the thick grass, the good chip up, this is pretty much straight up the hill, firm, and into the left side. Ooh, calms the nerves.
Yeah, you'll feel like he's stolen a shot there, perhaps.
This is turning into a bonanza for those invading Scots. The men from north of the border now occupy the top 3 spots on a day when accuracy off the tee is vital. Here's Kit and Richard Mansell with a tip on how to keep it straight.
There's no sweeter feeling when you're on the golf course than bombing one off the tee. So I've come up to the range to chat with Richard Mansell, Order of Merit leader and one of the longest hitters on tour. Rich, what is the key to driving the ball well?
The first and biggest thing is commitment, picking your shot and then just committing to that. Most people, well, pros especially, hit it pretty far nowadays, so distance doesn't tend to be much of an issue for most of us, but yeah, just picking your shot and standing there and committing to that, really.
What are your basics to setting up to hit a good drive?
If I've got a fairly wide open hole, then I'll put it a bit further forward in my stance, kind of lean back a bit more, and that's when I'm trying to hit it further. So I'll kind of increase my attack angle, maybe 5 or 6 degrees up, and then I can carry it further. But if I've got a tight fairway, then I'll hit my fairway finder shot where I tee it down a little bit lower, kind of cover it a bit more with my chest and just hit a little fade out there. So it doesn't tend to carry as far, but it runs a bit more.
A lot of amateurs struggle with the big slice. When you play with them in pro-ams, what do you see that's causing that?
But yeah, I mean, most of the amateurs do tend to slice it. It's because they get here and then they come over the top and try and they start the ball left and it's always going to go. And fixing that isn't easy. So that's something a coach can do. But you'll see that most of them who do play with left to right, and they'll still try and aim straight. Mm-hmm. And then they just miss it right, and it's instead of just accepting they probably do slice it, just aim it further left, really.
You're one of the bigger hitters on tour, so if you're looking for a little bit of intimidation factor when you get on the tee, just to get something over your rivals.
If I really want to try and get one out there, I just tend to tee it higher, try and swing it out to the right a little bit, hit a high draw and go from there, really.
Perfect.
Try and not hold anything back. Mm-hmm. I tend to take a bit of a wider stance as well. Mm-hmm. And don't hold back.
Perfect. There we go, shift it forward, tee it up and let it fly. Use those tips next time you're out on the course and you might hit a few bombs like Richard Mansell.
The swing that's taken Mansell to the top of the race to Desert Springs.
Yeah, he's having a great season. Now Fennec tee shot at the third. Letting the driver fly. And that's a beauty. Chasing down there today.
So, looking through the gloom and the murk, we pick up Mullins. His tee shot on this dogleg par 4 fourth. And he shaped that round the corner beautifully to the top of the hill. He'll have a nice look at the green in a moment or two.
Ross, second shot to 3. Good angle here. Just see about half the flag. Just playing a controlled little punchy one there, under the wind.
The question is, how is Fennec's ball lying on this second hole?
Great drive from Fennec, and he's long as well. The advantage here is that enables him to see the base of that pin. If you're a little bit shorter, you might just see the top of the flag. That's going to help him with his depth perception. It's 106 yards, and the wind is really gusting, so with a wedge that's going to go up in the air to a green below him, really important that he controls the flight here and gets this landing right where he wants. If he doesn't, with that pin position, can easily spin it back off the front and leave himself chipping rather than putting for birdie.
Yeah, as Kit said, to be able to see the base of the flag is a bonus. Now, some kind of 3/4 shot Or a swing without too much speed, just to keep the ball down, stop the wind affecting it, trust your yardage. Oh, looks like he's just held on to that one, dragged it a little bit to the left, pin high.
George Mullins upholding the horses for courses theory. He was 6th here last year.
Yes, Phil, he certainly does like Mannings Heath. Knows the course, and ricocheted, as you could see there, ricocheted way back off the microphone behind the green. You can't believe it. Neither can I.
It was incredible. Sounded like it hit the flag, but you're right, Gary. Back off the microphone. Seriously unlucky. Now Ross, little chip and run up the slope. Just dug in on him. Probably would have fancied making that one.
So Mullins, I don't know whether it actually went back in the bunker. I don't think it has. Yeah, it did, as you could see. And all turning into a bit of a trial.
Now this 5th hole, a short one, but the most difficult on the course.
Yeah, take a look at this. 184 yards. You can see the green set down in a bowl. Tight down the left. Little bit of a bank that will kick it back to the green, but if you're too far left, you're going to stay and end up in those trees and maybe the hazard on the left. Huge bank on the right to kick it back, but really the wind is the factor today. Quite a narrow target.
Fewest birdies, most double bogeys, most bogeys recorded on number 5. And so Ryan Campbell's tee shot, absolutely top draw.
Well, he's on fire start of this round today. Fantastic start with 2 birdies. He looks like he's in control of his swing, in control of his ball flight.
Yeah, as we return to Fennec, where we remember he'd hit his tee shot pin high, and this 20-footer's running well at the hole, running beautifully. Well done. Oh, that's takes away a bit of the pain from earlier.
Yeah, fantastic to make a putt like that early in the round, especially after bogey in the first. Now Mullins has got this for a par. Fair old swing from right to left on this one. Get out there, give it a chance. Well, desperately unlucky with the second shot. Walks away with a bogey.
Now James Ross has been steady Eddie so far with all of the drama going on around him. 3 pars to begin with.
Yeah, and it's not a day to get ahead of yourself. Start rushing things. Keep it all tight and in control like this man, Campbell. This for yet another birdie. Beautifully done. Just the 3 feet there after that cracking tee shot. He's on a mission today.
James Allen's forced his way into the top 10, together with Conor O'Neill. Amateur Bradley Borden's also playing well. But back alone at the top, it's Fennec, leading the way in this, the Nokia Masters.
It's an excellent tournament to be involved in, mainly because it's just a fantastic development tour. It's wonderful to see such young talent coming through, and I have to say, having been involved with it now for 3 years and playing in the Pro-Am, it's a privilege to meet such nice, decent, well-behaved sportsmen. Brilliant in all as they are, they're excellent people to be around as well, and great role models for their sport. So it's a pleasure for us to be involved in that developmental tour. There's always a buzz about the place as we start to get into the July preparation and into the August tournament. It's like being behind the scenes of a tour event, allows us to see maybe when we watch the PGA Tour what kind of goes on. You get a much better appreciation for it. So there's a lot of buzz around it.
Will Neil Fennec be phoning home as the champion? Final round action from Mannings Heath continues in just a moment.
Welcome back to the PGA Europro Tour. I am joined by our winner last time out at Caversham Heath, Sean Towndrow. Sean, what has the reaction been to that first win on the Europro Tour?
Crazy. I had so many messages when I went home on the Friday night. Twitter just went off, and phone calls all over the place. And then it it was great to take the trophy back to SNA. Sort of, I was in work the next day, so I took the trophy into the shop, and members were loving it, so it was good.
It's been an incredible journey as well. Just take us back to 2016 when you had some really bad news and hardship away from the course.
Yeah, 2016, I was about a week away from going to South Africa with England on like a 7-week tour down there, and I had like the chest pain, and went into hospital, and about 6 weeks later they said I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which I didn't know at the time, I didn't know what it was, and before I knew it I was having 6 rounds of chemo and 15 rounds of radio. It was a surreal time really, it was just, you're never prepared for that.
Looking back on it now, how were you able to deal with such a massive, life-changing thing?
I don't think you do. Personally, I can't speak for everybody obviously, but you just park your brain somewhere else, and I just let the doctors carry on, do their business, and luckily I came through the other side. And you know, you sort of see people who, you go to the chemo room every time, and there's people there who weren't there last time, and then all of a sudden there's someone you see every week, and then they've gone, and it's weird.
How differently do you look at life now?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to go back to golf. Sort of, I didn't have a clue I was going to do that. I was sort of just going to go and play, and it was weird coming back because I was always not angry, but I carried every shot with me, and then to come back and for it almost not to mean anything was a weird sort of mental state to be in.
Having been through the lows and the tough times you have, how much sweeter do those magical moments when you get your hands on the trophies feel?
Definitely, yeah, incredible. Sort of from where I was 3 years ago to now is just crazy. You know, I'm still having checkups every 3 months, but sort of it's mental where life takes you. It's great.
An inspirational story. Towndrow missed the cut here, but I'm sure we're going to see more of him as the season progresses. As for the current state of affairs at Mannings Heath, well, James Ross parred the fourth, as did Neil Fennec, and he remains one to the good, teeing off on the first par 3 here on this waterfall course.
Waterfall being the appropriate word. Look at this rain coming down now. Lovely swing again from Fennec. He's eyeing it down, but for the wrong reasons. And that, well, there's all sorts of problems down there. Looks like one of the referees has spotted where it's finished.
Yeah, Scott, I think it bounced back into the penalty area. As we take a look at Callum Fife, he's got his eye on it. I think he likes that one. Not a lot. That's perhaps he was frightened by Fennec, and he's missed on the bank on the right.
This is torrential. It's not a named storm, this, but it's certainly ugly. As Ross plays the old Scottish knockdown.
Yeah, lots of those shots required when this wind is gusting, and that's working its way back to the green. It's a sensible shot there. You can see this fifth green, Fennec's ball down on the left somewhere there under the trees in the penalty area. You can see the banking all around. Guy's trying to feed it in predominantly off that right bank. We'll throw it back.
I'm just going by my rules, mate.
No, yeah.
So he's saying though, it's pitched here, it's gone in here. Yeah, I know that's my point of entry, but it's just the wording of the. Do you know what I mean?
There's a little bit of discussion going on here between Fennec and the referee. Now his ball has hit this tree, come backwards, gone across the line of the hazard, then hit the bridge and bounced in. At the moment the issue is, where does the drop get taken? There are drop zones around the green, but are any of them legitimate for where this ball crossed in? If not, he faces a devilishly tricky shot, and 5 would actually be a pretty good score from there.
Another good score, 3 under after 6 for Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, fantastic start, as we said. Just punching one up to this long par 4, 450 yards. Bit of a beast today with this wind.
Now we return to Callum Fife on top of the bank. He's got this little chip. Oh, he actually caught one of those little bunkers up on the top there. That's a pretty good shot. It's never easy when you're splashing to a much lower level. Chance of a par still.
So many Scots in contention, among them James Ross. In 2015 he played on the PGA Tour Latin America, and he attended university in Houston, Texas. Well travelled.
James, you went to college over in America. What prompted you to make that decision?
I just felt like that was the best opportunity to try and further my golf. I took 2 years out after school and just kind of progressed through the amateur ranks with Scottish golf, and finally found a really good fit for myself over in the States. You
finished really well in the NCAA Championships, or the biggest event in college golf. Yeah. How much confidence did that give you at the time? Yeah, that was massive, to be honest, yeah. I'd had a really good spring, quite a few top tens, and worked my way into the Palmer Cup that June, and kind of went into that with no real expectations and just there to enjoy it. It was my final ever event in college, so I had nothing to lose, and they had the Golf Channel cameras there, and it was all quite a big production. So yeah, I just enjoyed it and ended up missing out in a playoff by one. You ended up playing on the PGA Latino America Tour down in South America. How did that come about? Well, I'm based full-time in the States. So I actually live in Texas. South America is actually pretty close. I have quite a few friends who are South American, and did a lot of travel, picked up a little bit of Spanish, and played some very interesting courses. Back home sweet home though, on the British Europro Tour this season. Yeah. How do you feel the year's gone for you so far? Yeah, this is my 4th event. So I came back over from the States in June, and it's been a great opportunity to play competitive golf over here. I've seen some parts of the country I've never been to before, and the courses, well, this is the 4th one, the courses have all been really good, so it's nice to see some familiar faces from back in the amateur days. What's your strategy going into today's final round? Try to not get blown over, I think. Probably one of the tallest guys out there, so I'll have a big full breakfast to try and keep me nice and grounded before the day. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting day, so just have to try and stay patient and see what happens.
A big full breakfast to stop myself being blown over. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I like that one, Phil. Plenty of guys will use that one perhaps as we see this birdie attempt. Just a bit slow up the hill there. Bit of water on these greens now. It's a comfortable par, while the playing partners have got their trials and tribulations.
Yes, they certainly have. This 15-footer for Fife, which will break to the right as it gets to the hole. And he's read it beautifully. That's a good save.
And a good save is what Campbell needs on 7 to remain bogey-free for the day.
Yeah, we saw his approach shot coming up just a little short. Opting for the little chip and run there. That's not his finest. Disappointed with that one.
Now going back to the 5th with all that discussion about Fennec, and you can see he's ended up having to drop from the penalty area in a very awkward place. The reason that was that the PGA referees had designated a dropping zone, but the ball had to cross the margin of the hazard up where that buggy was that you could see. So sadly, Mr. Fennec had to drop where we saw him. So now faced with this chip for his 4th shot up the green. And a nice contact. Oh, it's a great result. Well, 5 is not a good score, but it could easily have been a 6.
Yeah, he's done all he can there to save shots as we go to Campbell. This to stay bogey free. Now he's up and out of it. He knew that one was just always on the right side. First bogey of the day after a blistering start.
And so Fennec finally tidying up. We've had 2 triple bogeys or worse here this week, and 16 double bogeys. This 5th hole causes problems year in, year out. With Campbell and Fennec faltering, the major beneficiary has been Ross, now in sole possession of the lead as he takes on the 6th, a relatively short par 4, but one to be respected, as John Morgan explains.
Well, we've come to the 6th hole, beautiful par 4, 370 yards. You might think it's a bit of a doddle because it's a short hole, you know, 370 like I said, but it isn't, you know. It's a bit of a hidden gem because the tee box is hidden in amongst those trees. You can't see where I am right now. It's about 220 off the tee. The boys will be hitting a nice long iron down the right-hand side, and hopefully they'll get the kick to the left, where there's acres of space down the left-hand side. You've got the penalty area over there that the boys are going to have to flirt with and carry to get into a nice position, but most of the guys will be aiming down the right-hand side. But if you slightly overcook it down the right, this is what's in front of you. All these trees, I've seen a few balls the other day come in here, scoot off straight down there, but they're all blocked out and they can't get to the green, and they got hit out sideways and then onto the green. But I know, it's a difficult one. It's only 370 yards, but you're just here. It's lift clean in place today. You've got water in front of the green as well. Big slick green that slopes from back to front as well. A couple of bunkers hiding up there, left and right. Let's give it a go. Ball above my stance. Got to fade it. Pins at the back of the green on the right. Wish me luck. I'll tell you what, it's left of the green, just past Penai. What a hole.
Quality shot from John yet again, and now we see Ross actually down the left side flirting with the hazard. He's got a lie, quite a good angle. Well, he had a good angle just over the top of the flag, just half a club long.
Chances are, I think, probably just a little bit of a flyer, Scott, maybe out of that longer grass, very wet.
The top 5 in the Race to Desert Springs at the end of the season are promoted to the Challenge Tour for 2020, and Ryan Campbell is a promotion candidate, no doubt about that.
And that's a booming drive off this par 5, 530 yards or thereabouts. We'll go back to 6, and here's Fennec. The troubles behind him on the last. Finding the fairway, hopefully finding one close. Just hang on, big slope at the front of this green. Just run off, not a bad position though.
No, it'll look good in the air right down the flag. So we look at Callum Fife, very similar position as he played it far enough up the green. He certainly has. Yeah, that's a very good result. It's a very neat swing. Not a big man at all, Callum Fife, but is playing well this season.
As is Campbell, tied 4th at Harleford, runner-up at Camberwell, tied 8th at Linden Hall.
Yeah, some solid performances. And looking for another one today to finish off his week. That one not quite reaching this par 5. Probably just caught the bunker front left.
James Ross. We saw the ball pop off the back of the green. Just got to be a bit delicate with this one. Quite quick down the hill, but helped by the moisture on the green, so it shouldn't get away from him. And indeed it hasn't. It should be straightforward in a moment or two for his par.
Yeah, lovely technique there. Very simple action. Fennec opted to have it tended. Don't see that much these days. Guys are normally just in or out with the flag. Slow putt here. A lot of break at the hole. He's got work to do for his par now.
Now this 8th is the lengthiest hole on the course at 530 yards. But it's one you need to take advantage of, playing almost half a stroke under par, average score. And from wet sand, that is a peach.
Yeah, fantastic judgment there. Not easy. Bit of a chunk and run. Judged it beautifully. Now, Fife saw his approach in, spinning back down. Bit of movement right to left. Oh, he would have fancied that one.
Well, the 8th, 9th are almost up at the highest part of the course, and you can see, looking at the green there, the debris that's being ripped off these trees. It really is very gusty. 8 and 9 are tough.
Andrew Wilson, an impressive winner of the Motor Caddy Masters at Linden Hall, is tied 4th on this ever-shifting leaderboard, where Campbell's moved into a share of the lead, together with Ross, who's chatting to Kit on his walk to the 7th tee.
Level par, how do you feel the round is going for you so far?
It's definitely a grind out here, yeah. It's very different to the last 2 days. We've got a few holes in a bit of shelter now coming up, so it'd be nice to take a break out of the wind for a little bit.
Just how difficult is it, not only getting the right club, but also picking your moment to hit the shot in these blustery conditions?
Yeah, you can feel when a gust is coming, so far I've been okay on that front, but it's bound to happen that you'll kind of have to back off at some point. But yeah, you just got to commit to your target and let it go.
Great stuff, thanks for your time.
Sure.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Ross and Ryan Campbell are looking good, but so many are in the mix. So many are dialed in at the Nokia Masters. Despite these extremely windy conditions, the contenders at Mannings Heath are putting on quite a show. But when the final putt drops, who will be the star? In common with so many events on the Europro Tour this year, momentum is fluid. But right now, James Ross and Ryan Campbell are tied at the top, the latter needing a birdie on the 9th to reach the turn in 32. That is exceptional, given the weather.
Certainly is exceptional. Slightly out of position here down the left side. Using some height and the wind to bring that in, and that is, well, just past pin high, down the slope. Might be a tricky one, that.
This is Daniel Young, our winner at Spey Valley recently. Lovely stuff.
Good distance control there with the wedges. Gives himself a relatively short one as the rain comes down again.
This is the first time we've seen the amateur Borden. He's played extremely well this week. Good touch, good prospect, and a very good shot, as you can see.
Yeah, great experience. Get out here with the pros, test yourself, see what you can do. Now here's Ross, tee shot on 7. Very, very tough conditions, as we keep saying, with this breeze. That one just skirting with the trees on the left. Should be okay, though.
Doesn't look much, this, but believe me, this is very awkward over that bank. It's much higher than the cameras show. And that is a very clever little shot that Campbell's played there. Sort of Phil Mickelson little flop, and a good result.
Now Young trying to get back to level par for the day. Made a bogey on 4 and a birdie on the 8th.
Got to make the most of these par 5 opportunities, and he did just that. Now Campbell to close out his front 9, hopefully. Oh, just a little tentative up the hill, and it just wandered. Disappointing finish to his front 9, but nevertheless, good score.
So, James Ross, where we left him, just on the very edge of the first cut there. You can hear the moisture there in the contact. Takes away really any control if you can't get the club cleanly on the back of the ball. That's why you get what we refer to and players know as flyers.
Borden now. On the 8th, we saw his pitch up to here. Just about 5 or 6 feet for birdie. Yeah, good stroke. Guy's having to clean a fair bit of debris away around that hole, as you can see.
Now more trials and tribulations for Neil Fennec.
Yeah, another awkward one. Trying to play the low chaser. Sit down now. Well, there's plenty of room just through the back of this green. That's not a bad result.
Callum Fife has played all the way down the adjacent hole here, but it's given him a chance to get up and down and save his par. 60 yards exactly to the pin as the rain starts to come down again. He has got green to work with. It's all about picking the landing spot, the flight and the spin to get it releasing back to that hole.
Some very brave people out there today, battling the elements. Now 60 yards, as Kit said. And these should be the bread and butter shots. Now a little bit trickier when the wind's gusting. And he's got good contact on that one, just pulling up a little shy.
It's been a great time of late for Neil Fennec. Tied runner-up at Linden Hall, tied third at Caversham Heath with a second round 65. Those brilliant scores to start the tournament. Oh, now then, that might fire him up. That was a beautiful chip.
Yeah, great technique, very simple. Almost the perfect result. We go ahead to Campbell on 10. It's 188 yard par 3. Very good for distance.
Yes, I always think that Ryan Campbell has got a sort of slightly old-fashioned golf swing, because there's much more hands and arms and wrists than almost every modern player.
Yeah, a lot of feel, I think, with Campbell's game. It's working very, very well for him at the moment, as we see Ross. Well, a little bit of a delicate one there. He's just got it a little bit too soft, and work to do for his part.
Now from the foot of the hill, middle of the fairway, Borden up to this green. Quite a steep rise up to the green. You see the rain still pouring down, and he's used that little bank on the right to fantastic effect. And the wind, the slope, everything moving the ball closer and closer. Great effort.
He's just finished a year at the University of Memphis, where his average score was 71.4, just shy of the school record. His favourite golfer, Sevi Ballesteros, who once played an exhibition right here at Mannings Heath.
Bradley, this is your first ever Europro Tour event, and you started the first round with 5 birdies in a row. What was going through your mind at that point?
Well, yeah, it was always nice to start with 5 birdies. I was just trying to execute golf shots, really, try and take the score out of the equation. And
you've just graduated from college in America. You spent 4 years over there. How did that aid your development?
Massively, because I actually had to go to a junior college because I didn't have the record to get to Division 1 golf. So I went through the junior college system and improved massively, which enabled me to go to Division 1 golf. I was able to improve there, and it's made me the golfer who I am today.
Do you feel when you're now getting into professional events that you look at the guys around you, the scores that you're shooting this week, you feel ready to make that step?
Yeah, I feel ready. Yeah, because there are a few names that I see playing this week who have played in America, which is comforting because that's what I've done. And there's a lot of good players out here, so it is tough, but I feel like I'm capable of competing with these guys.
You're right there in contention going into today's final round. How are your emotions this morning?
Yeah, I'm excited, yeah. Obviously, maybe a little nervous. This is my first Europro, so there's going to be a few nerves there, but I'm excited to get going and see what I can do. What would it mean if you rocked up into your first ever PGA Europro Tour event as an amateur and walked away with the trophy at the end of the day? Yes, that would be nice. There's something that I would like to happen, but there's a lot of good golfers out there and there's a lot of competition, so I'm just going to stick to my game and see if that's enough.
This for birdie on 9. His favourite movie is Happy Gilmore, trying to author his own underdog story.
Yeah, absolutely. Great performance. Good to see. Sounds like he's got a good attitude towards the game. Out there enjoying himself as much as you can in these conditions.
Yes, indeed, as we watch Ryan Campbell putting up the slope on the 10th. And just never quite got the line, as he said himself there. Lovely pace. Easy tap in.
Can be tricky when there's this much moisture falling. Just affects the line of some of the putts. Just don't break as much as you think. Now Fife. This for his par. Bold putt.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Good, John.
Fancied that one. Just drilled it straight in the back of the hole. Good par save.
Horrible weather though, just horrible.
Yeah, battening down the hatches as we see Ross through the back of the green, chip to here. Can he make this one? Oh, it was a good roll, just grabbing the left edge, but not enough for it to drop. And that'll be a drop shot.
Tight final round leaderboards have been a recurring theme on this year's Race to Desert Springs, and this is no exception. We now have 4 tied for the lead. Everyone in the top 10 is covered by just 3 shots. And please, don't forget the amateur.
Yeah, what a story this would be. Get himself in contention. Now, par 3, 10th. Very much downhill. This hole plays about 15 to 20 yards down. A little bit of misjudgment there. No trouble, but well short of the flag.
Back to the 9th, Neil Fennec, middle of the fairway. Good look up at this green. Just so difficult to judge the distance and the direction in this really, really stiff breeze. You can see there, a bit short and right.
Yeah, you've only got to be a fraction off. The wind can take it, make it look like a pretty ordinary shot. Now Young on 10. What's he got? Yeah, a little bit difficult to judge this one. Guys coming up short. Perhaps the wind just fooling them a little bit. It is a massively elevated shot, tee shot.
James Ross has launched an enormous tee shot up the 9th. There's a pretty lofted club up the hill. And a very nice result.
It's getting tight at the top, and Borden is one of the men up there, but he's got a bit of work on to save it here on the par 3. He's just come up short of the green. It's so severely downhill, really tricky to judge the club. But now he's got a chip up the green. It's relatively straightforward. Lots of putting service to work with, only a slight little bit of break from right to left. But the key when you're chipping in these wet conditions, those first couple of bounces, they're going to skid rather than grab. Can he make the right adjustment to that here?
Well, let's see what he's thinking. Some guys, it's like this, prefer to lob it all the way to the flag pretty much, take out those skiddy bounces. Borden is allowing for them, and he's judged that beautifully well. Left it just below the hole. Just about 18 inches tap in there for his par. You can see he was eyeing that one down. He knew he'd played it well.
So back to Neil Fennec, where we left him. As you can see, short and right. Coming over the shoulder, which unfortunately just caught the shoulder there. It's just thrown the ball on another 2 or 3 feet. Just gives it that little bit more work to do.
It might be only briefly as the weather improves, but if Ryan Campbell holds this, he will be the leader alone.
Yeah, this is a monster birdie effort. Go on. Go on. Yeah, tracking. A little bit more pace. I think he would have had that one.
Yeah, I think he might, as we look at Ross after that very good second shot. Oh, it's a beautiful putt. That really was a smooth stroke. Great birdie. It's going well.
And the outright lead.
Yeah, takes the lead. Let's see what he can do from there. Now, on the 18th, here is Allen, left-hander, just below the surface. Didn't quite get the contact on that one.
Well, right the way up and across this 10th green. Young's birdie putt, just off the fringe. A couple of hops as it came on, but it's running well, running brilliantly. What a putt that was. Whew.
Now this is James Allen from Chelmsford Golf Club, who's about to set the clubhouse lead, we believe. Even though he misses that, he will be the clubhouse leader.
Yeah, great day. Unfortunate bogey at the 18th. Still a good day's work. Now Fennec Left to right putt here. This for his par on 9. Got to be positive with this one. And you can see the swing on that.
With a front 9 of 39, Fennec's stock continues to fall, but he's only 2 off the pace, not out of this yet. Currently though, James Ross finds himself in pole position at Mannings Heath, where Barry Anderson is the managing director.
For me, it's my first year with the Europro at Mannings Heath Golf and Wine Estate, and it's everything everyone's ever talked about. We're super proud to be hosting the Europro, and we've just heard from Nokia that they're willing to sponsor a 4th year, so we'll be welcoming you all back in a year's time. It's a big day on our calendar, you know, and it's not just the members, it's the local villagers are all part of it. There's a real excitement about the Europro, and you see it over the last 2 days that have passed.
The question in the Nokia Masters, will Ross stay the boss? Find out after the break. The wonderful waterfall course at Mannings Heath Golf and Wine Estate is the venue for a gripping last day's action in this Nokia Masters. James Ross, attached to Royal Burgess Golf Club, is a slight favourite to be crowned champion, but so many others could yet grab the glory, such as Daniel Young, bidding to be the first double winner on the Europro Tour this season. He's playing the 11th, and Kit is down there.
Young is not going to love this lie over here on the right-hand side of the fairway. He's got a tree in front of him. He can see the pin, 151 yards to it, but I'm not sure he can get enough club to ball here to safely get it up over that tree, and with probably the little bit of fade that he'll need to work it in there. He's got 2 choices with that in mind. One, he plays it down to the fat here. The other is he aims for the left of the green, but again, with all of the water hazard up there, really risky. I'd actually be surprised if he goes for the green from here.
First on the 11 though, Young's playing partner, Bradley Borden.
Great view down the 11th here. It's a wonderful looking approach. He's fired that one like a dart. Oh, a little bit aggressive, just over the back. Good look at the swing here. Very compact. Yeah, beautiful control. Just a little strong now. Here is Young. Ball well above the feet. Giving it a good hack. Trying to keep it up the right side. There is water left, and he's using the bank. And that's a great result from that lie.
Certainly was, Scott. Weight on the left, making sure that you can get a good steep attack. Very strong, managing to hold the club face square through that thick rough.
A level par front 9 for James Ross. Something a little better on the back might well yield the trophy.
Yeah, it's all to play for. Tightly bunched. Now this 10th hole has proved very difficult with such an elevated tee shot. Got the distance there, but just dragged it to the left side of the green.
So after what I think was a really, really good recovery from that thick rough, can Young capitalise and chip this very close or even in? It's coming round. It's going to finish right behind the hole. Good effort. I think he's going to salvage something from that.
Up ahead at 12. Campbell for another birdie. Brief moment of sunshine. It's a good effort. Just hung it out on the right lip. The way he's been putting today, I'd be disappointed. Probably feels like he can make everything on these greens.
Bradley Borden, after that Exocet approach, which was just a little long, giving it a nice jab. Grabbed more than I expected. That's going to leave him quite a long putt.
Ross down on the 10th, just on the left side. A long chip up the slope. Yeah, played that beautifully. Short game has been really strong today when required.
Borden following a short chip. As you can see, knocked that a little too firmly just through the break.
Borden slips back into tied 4th. Ross is the leader, and both Campbell and Young are just one off the pace.
Dan, very solid so far. What's been the key to your good play?
I've shot the ball lovely. I've hit a lot of good iron shots in the wind. Yeah, I've just been really solid tee to green. Finally hold a putt on 10, which was like a massive bonus, but I mean, the whole front 9 I was hitting it sort of 10-15 feet all day, and just I've not made anything until 10, so it was nice to see one finally drop.
Seems like it's brightening up a little bit now. Is that going to change things at all on this back 9?
I don't think so. I don't think the rain's, it's more the wind.
Yeah.
And the wind's been, I mean, it's pretty chaotic all day, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think it'll change things too much.
Great stuff. Thanks for your time. Keep it going.
Cheers.
Look at this, Campbell now playing in a t-shirt.
Yeah, anyone would think it was summer. So we see this second shot to the par 5. Launched it up there. Very good, safely on. In 2, downhill putt there for eagle. Good view of this hole from here, directly up the hill, and look at that. What a bullet that was.
Certainly was, Kit. Ross on the 11th, as you can see, just outside the penalty area. And that's a lovely shot. Pin high, 20 feet to the left. Good shot.
Second shot for Young here on the 12th. Short par 4. Very good.
Well, as you can see from the complete outfit change and the fact I'm now bathed in sunshine, it is like a completely different day out here now. Still blowy, but the temperature has come up, the rain has gone away. Campbell is in prime position here on the 13th green. He's got an eagle putt on the par 5. It's about 35 feet. It is a slick one downhill, and it will swing right to left. It's not one he can be overly aggressive with though, because any pace as it moves past the hole, and you're suddenly looking at a tricky 4 or 5 footer back up the hill for your birdie.
Get a little bit of an idea of the slope here once you've been told about it. So let's see, Campbell, long range for eagle. Whoa, that looks a bit pacey. Steady on. A bit more slope at the front as well. Hang on now. Oh no.
I think the American terminology is de-greened it.
Absolutely, Phil. That was a shocker.
So, Ross across the 11th green, running nicely. Yeah, such a difficult hole, this 11th, that, you know, a par is just one of those holes players want to get past, and a par is a very solid result.
Lots of things irritate pro golfers, nothing more than a 3-putt on a par 5 for a par.
Yeah, quite right, Phil. Be bold with this one. Oh, great attempt. Just hitting the right edge.
I have to say, I think there's a pretty difficult pin placement on this one for the last downthrow. It's, as we just saw, it's so easy for the ball to slide past if you're coming from above the hole. And it makes you look rather foolish.
Can do. Absolutely, but it is a par 5. Needs some defence. Now this for birdie. Grabs the right edge and drops. That's a bonus. Well done. Another birdie on the card.
That little pep talk with our kit has done Young the world of good. He climbs into a share of the lead together with Ross. Next for Young, the 13th, an exploitable par 5, described in detail by Mr. Morgan.
Well, here we come to 13. Could be unlucky for some. 505 yards, this par 5, and as the crow flies, doesn't look like much to it, apart from all these trees down the left-hand side from start to finish. You've got a bunker about 270 that you could just get into on the right-hand side, about 280 to carry. But once you're on the fairway, you're in for a treat for your second. You've hit your drive, you've got it on the fairway. I'm along a big ridge that just runs across this fairway, about 308 yards off the tee. And I think this is where they're going to be most of the time, because it's playing 19 down as well. So you do the math, and I got about 186 yards to go. I mean, I'm looking at that pin. It looks devilish today for me, and I'm just looking at that old oak tree behind the green that looks like it's been hit by lightning many moons ago, and that's where I'm going to be aiming at. And just got a nice little upslope. I'm going to try and fade one in here. Just wish me luck, boys and girls, because this is not an easy shot. Go, baby. Fly, fly, fly. How is you doing?
Another perler from Johnny Boy. Now Borden. Let's see what he's got. Just down the right edge of this fairway. We've seen the pin tucked right on the front. Ooh, and that was just half a club short from getting onto the flat. Not a bad miss though.
To the titchy 14th, where James Adams made a hole-in-one on day one.
This is a very small green here. And I don't think Mr. Campbell's best pleased with that. No, that really was rather ugly. But no doubt, still there's a little annoyance inside him. You can see straight off the bat, going left and left of that bunker.
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble down the right there, but a bit overcautious with that one. As we go to Ross, second shot to 12. Another one, just going long. A couple of those now. A bit more right than long, I guess, on that one.
Yeah, as we nip forward to Young, can he get the right club to find the putting surface? Well, he found the right club, but not the putting surface.
Campbell's 5 on 13 would have felt like a bogey. He's in danger of the real thing here on the 14th.
Yeah, just losing momentum a little bit, unless he can get this one up and down. Treacherously difficult shot from there. You can see that all downhill from the flag. Just in the fringe there. It's not too far from the pin. 5 on 12, short par 4. Just punching one in here with the wedge. Steady now, bit of spin needed. Come on. Yeah, using the back slope nicely.
And you know, Scott, he's in the group on 9 under, and with a big finish, you never know.
Yeah, there's a lot of chances in the closing stretch. And guys are so tightly bunched. Now Campbell, this little chip for his par. Well, he'll have that tap in for a bogey, but that'll be a par and then a bogey. It'll feel like 2 drop shots, last 2 holes.
Yeah, he lost a bit of momentum, as you say, Scott, as we look at Ross. I think his idea was right, but he just landed the ball probably 2 paces too much up in the fringe for that one. Back to Borden, who, as you'll remember, came up just short of this 13th. But that's a nice chip and should secure his birdie.
It was a good place to leave it there, short of the green, below the hole. Now Ross, this one to save par, just over 12 feet, bit of break on it, a little bit tentative. First sign of weakness, perhaps.
Our leader is Daniel Young, who won the Eagle Orchid Scottish Masters at Spey Valley recently with rounds of 67, 65 and 69. He's having a chat with Kit.
Dan, it's the first time we've seen you on the Europro Tour since that fantastic victory up at Spey Valley. Looking back on it now, just how good was your performance that week?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you win, you've played some good golf. But I was really happy with how I sort of handled myself the last round. It wasn't overly easy, the front 9, and then I knew I kind of had to have a really strong back 9 if I wanted to get the job done, and I managed to produce a lot of good shots when it mattered.
You were out there in tricky conditions in the second round here yesterday. You had everything between a double bogey and right up to an eagle. Did it feel like a real roller coaster?
Yeah, it was a strange one. I played really, really nicely the first 6 holes, and there wasn't much going on. It was just kind of very solid, and then the roller coaster kind of began. There was a little bit of up and down after that. But it was really tough. I mean, especially around the turn. I think our group especially you were hitting good shots, and they were just, some of them were going nowhere near a green or the fairway, and you're just kind of looking up at getting flustered by what the wind was actually doing in amongst the trees. So I felt like it was quite tricky. But there's still, like, coming in here, there's a few scoreable holes, so it was just kind of got my head down and tried to sort of keep it fairly around par until the last few and try and get the skates on then.
Yeah, it was a magnificent finish, 5 under for your last 6 holes in the second round. How much momentum does that give you to carry into today's final round?
Yeah, massively. I mean, like you said, it was a fast finish. I seen the board, I think on 13T, and I knew I had a few to make up if I wanted to catch the guys up in front. So yeah, I just kind of started playing a little bit more aggressive and thought I need to try and close the gap a little bit and then give myself a chance going into today.
And Gary, a birdie here would give him a 2-shot lead.
Yes, so it would be a nice little bonus over these closing holes. Everything feeding down, the grass was growing in his favour there, so it was a good choice taking the putter, even though he was probably 10 steps off the green.
Yeah, got it reasonably close for his birdie attempt. Now Fife, we saw his quality wedge in here, this for birdie. Yeah, beautiful stroke. Finds the centre of the cup. He's not out of it by any means.
So following that good first putt, just on the left edge, and boom, turns right into the middle. Very good. It's getting exciting.
If he wins today, he'll be promoted by my reckoning. Well done to James Allen. That 68 in the wind is a terrific score. Also respect for Bradley Borden, fighting back into a share of second place with Ross. But for the first time today, there's a modicum of daylight at the top. Double-seeking Daniel Young enjoys a 2-shot advantage in the Nokia Masters. We are witnessing a Scottish bean feast in Sussex. The Tartan Marauding Party currently fill 5 of the top 6 spots in the Nokia Masters. The only Englishman in line to repel them, amateur Bradley Borden. Leading the way by 2 from Borden and James Ross is Daniel Young. He's about to tackle the 14th, a lovely par 3 that's highly rated by John Morgan.
We gotta love the par 3s here at Mannings Heath. I'm on the 14th, 156 yards. Absolute perler, tight as you like green as well, long and thin. You've got these 3 bunkers guarding on the left-hand side of this hole, and you know the wind could be swirling. If you miss anything down the right-hand side as well by like 5-10 feet just right of this green, you are in lost ball territory. Thick trees, thick bundae. I mean, that's 3 off the tee, guaranteed. Now you're in this bunker, such an inviting shot. I mean, it's not for the faint-hearted, this one. That pin on the left-hand side, not an easy one to get to, but you know, you could hopscotch your way if you're not too careful amongst these bunkers before you get on the green. So anyway, I'm out with lob wedge, got to come in high, got to get the connection as well and a bit of spin, try and carry this last bunker and should be fine and dandy. Here we go. Got the height, have I got the spin? Yes, I do. And there you go.
I know what you're thinking at home because I'm thinking the same. Why can't I do that?
John does have all the shots, it would appear. And what's Young got? It's tricky with this wind. Tendency is to keep it left. Oh, and that's a hugely favourable bounce. He'll be delighted with that result from where that was heading.
Moving forward, the short 15th, just about drivable, and as you can see, Campbell had almost driven the green, and he's popped that one up to about 4 or 5 feet.
This 14th, another indication that you don't have to be lengthy with a par 3 to be a good one.
No, some of the shortest par 3s in the world are the best. Pebble Beach, postage stamp at Troon. And that one looks to have caught one of those left traps.
The debris strewn green. Ryan Campbell keep this just right of centre. Just went too wide. It's been a very curate's egg, hasn't it, Phil? He's up and down. Lots of good and some not so good.
Yeah, the last 3 holes will hurt.
Those are the margins at top level golf. A yard shorter and Young faces a really tricky up and down from that bunker. As it is, a little bit of ground help. Around it came and he's pin high with a fantastic look for 3 birdies on the bounce. It is going to be quick, downhill and down breeze, but there's actually not a huge amount of movement on it, perhaps a little bit from right to left. Another great chance here.
First though, is Borden's short game going to remain dependable?
Yeah, this will test his mettle here, test his nerves. Not a great lie, I don't think. Just chunked it out, running up beautifully, well played. I'll be delighted with that, leaving it just below the hole. You can see tall man having to get down low. Plenty of sand and commit to the strike.
He really did have to bend his knees on that one. So, Kit's told us the line. Has Young read it correctly? And can he get the pace right? Oof. My goodness. My goodness. How frustrating is that?
That wasn't a putt to be aggressive with. And that was half a turn from dropping in. Very unlucky. Now on 13. We see Fife going the aerial route. Oh, he won't be pleased with that one.
Let's go to the 15th.
Only 53 yards left for Young here, but it might not be quite as straightforward as it first appears. That pin is tucked back there in the right-hand side of the green. There's not much behind it. Now, he's going to need spin if he wants to go straight at it and stop it. But it's not going to be a full swing from here, even with a 60-degree wedge, so that's not going to give it as maximum spin. Also, coming out of the rough, it looks a bit of a fly alive from me. Does he play safe, or this close to the green, do you feel you've got to fire straight at it?
Well, I think from this distance, he will be eyeing it down. It does bank in around the pin. A little bit of a backstop as well. Sounded a good strike. Oh yeah, dead aim. Nice and aggressive, birdie chance.
So, James Ross from the fringe. And right in. Oh, that was a good putt. Never looked anywhere else.
Yeah, magnificent break that. Up ahead at 15. Here is Borden. See what he can do with his wedge, also coming out the rough. Oh, beautiful, delightful. Absolutely got it surrounded here, these boys.
So after that slightly inaccurate little pitch in, Callum Fife swinging in from the left, probably 6 inches of break, which he's read perfectly.
The pitch wasn't the best, but the putt covered the cracks. Excellent.
Yeah, he can make up for a lot with a good putt, that's for sure. Now here is Young. Birdie attempt at 15. Well, I think that's fooled him there. Just moved a little bit more right to left than he thought.
An amateur prevailing always generates a good story. It's happened on the Europro Tour before, and don't discount the possibility this time. The next test for Borden and our leader Young, the always stern 16th.
Well, we come to 16, par 4, 469 yards, this little beauty. The boys are not going to be wanting to hit driver here. They might fancy it, but I tell you what, it's probably safety play that you get your 3-wood out or a long iron. I mean, there's a bunker down there, about 237 yards to carry. Bit of rough down the right-hand side as well, and the fairway just slopes a little smidge from left to right as well as you hit it. There's a ditch, though, about 340 yards out, and the boys, as it's hard running and fast, might just get near it. You never know with a big drive, so I think the 3-wood is a must. And it's aimed straight down the middle of the fairway, let the contours take it to the right. Should open up the green nicely. Now, bit of a speed golf, just show you how quick you can play the game. No questions asked. And there you are, rip. Look at that, straight down the middle. Woohoo! The second shot here is fraught with danger. Big, deep, hazardous bunker on the front right-hand side of this green as well, and this green slopes from back to front. So it's a bit of a tall order. It's 175 yards to go, bit of a cross breeze and into for your second shot. I've got a little 7-iron, trying to go a little bit low, take it out of the wind. Hold on to your hats, boys and girls. Here we go. Well, there we go. Straight at it. Is it the club? Is it the club? Is it the club? Oh, singing and all dancing.
I think I'd be sacking the caddy there, John. That's at least a club short. As we go to Young. Lost his tee shot. 3 off the tee. This is his 4th. And not on the surface with that one either.
Yes, he went out of bounds left. That could be so costly.
Yeah, leaderboard so bunched. Crucial moments in these final holes.
Neil Fennec now, his tee shot on this short but extremely difficult par 3. Launches it up into the air. It's looking a bit left, is it? It certainly is. And I think that has found the sand.
Yeah, danger of it being plugged as well would not be good. Now Borden here at 16 from the fairway, another good tee shot. Well, you can see the wind really getting hold of that one.
And those short game skills he's displayed all day will be tested yet again.
Indeed, Fennec has found the bunker. Ooh. Yeah, it's not very often you see a really top performer chunk into the sand like that.
That one must have been plugged. Now Campbell at 17. Work it in off the slope. Didn't need the backspin as well. That's just going to trickle back to the front edge of the green. Actually just down off the fringe.
Now this is Neil Fennec's 4th.
All sorts of problems there, just so cruel. And he's made a good fist of that one.
Yeah, the par 3s have been very tough on Neil Fennec today. Ryan Campbell, this 4-footer for his birdie.
And with another on the last, he won't be dashing off.
No, that'll be a decent clubhouse target. Now Fennec, this for double bogey 5, up the hill. Oh, it was weak. Head perhaps a little bit fried from the troubles in the bunkers. Such a shame.
Yeah, that really was from one player in trouble. Here's another fighting not to end up with a big score. Yeah, beautifully judged.
Ross now on 15, closing stages. This tournament still all to play for. Absolutely launching the driver there.
Kit is 1 hole in front.
Borden's ball is lying really nicely over here, but he's short-sided himself. And if you come with me, I want to show you exactly why that is so tricky. It looks flatter on screen, but as I walk up here, you can see there's a real elevation change right up to this point, and then it's all downhill and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paces to work with. He's going to have to go lofted and hope he can get it to land soft enough on this downslope that he gives himself a makeable chance for par.
Scott, I've been very impressed with his chipping so far today, Borden, but you can't keep going to the well.
Well, it is testing him. His reserves, what's he got? He's got a good lie. He's played it nicely. Yeah, he's judged that beautifully. It's another one out of the top draw. Just about 3 feet to save par.
Callum Fife, his second shot on the 15th. Just a little half swing pitch in. Good result, helped by his playing partner's golf ball, stopping it running on even further.
Now Whitehoke has this to set the new clubhouse mark. Well done indeed, the man who was tied fourth in the recent Golf Catcher Championship. Another useful check will be coming his way.
Solid round of golf that today. Now here's Ross. We saw the big tee shot up near the green at 15. This drivable, almost drivable par 4. Little chip over the shoulder. Yeah, not too bad there. A little bit further than he would have liked. Not quite a tap in, but a great birdie chance. Now Borden played a beautiful pitch here. This to save par. And one sneaks away from him. He's been so good at getting up and down all day. But this is crunch time now. Perhaps a few nerves kicking in.
Following a good pitch in, can Fife knock this one in? He certainly can.
His best so far this season, tied 10th at Caversham Heath, so that looks like being eclipsed.
Now Young here, all sorts of problems. This for a double bogey. He makes sure of it, but that is not a good time to drop 2 shots to the field.
And can Ross insert this? Certainly can.
What a final day. You know, he's led after 36 holes this season and faded. This time is Callum Fife, timing his run to maximum effect. On the fringes all day, the Glaswegian suddenly shares the lead with Ross. The only certainty, what a finish we have in prospect. Even this late in proceedings, the identity of the Nokia Masters champion remains anyone's guess. We're down to the crunch in the Nokia Masters at Mannings Heath. And with only 2 shots covering the top 7, this closing stretch should be a treat. Will Whitehoke leads in the clubhouse, Callum Fife and James Ross share the lead on the course. It seems that, as usual, the inviting par 5 17th will play a pivotal role.
Well, penultimate hole, 17, par 5, golden opportunity for an eagle, really jump up that leaderboard, maybe overtake the leader, you never know what might happen. But this fairway slopes dramatically from right to left. It's only 492 yards, so a really short par 5 in modern day standards. But anything down the left-hand side, thick trees, thick rough, everything like that. But if you're up the right-hand side, you've got every chance to catch a fast lane. You know, some of them might just hold it off, fade it into that bank and hold the fairway. Here we go. And there it is, absolutely nailed. Now that'd be interesting. That's going to pitch probably centre of the fairway, and then imagine that's in a left-hand rough. Hopefully not a flying lie. Now, I've hit it about 326 yards off the tee, so I'm really happy. I've probably got no more than about 160, 165 yards to go, and I'm going to club up here because I want to fade it. Right, here we go. And I played one, boys and girls, I played one. Oh my goodness, have I played one. Oh, that's my Sunday best, right there and then.
Well, I think standards are slipping a bit, Johnny boy. You're delighted with getting it to 30, 40 feet these days. So let's get back to seeing them in close. Now here's Borden. What's he got? Steady on there. Yeah, that's okay. Just in the left rough. Should be a straightforward pitch back to the flag.
Yeah, quite an awkward spot he had to play out of. I must admit, I think he's got a very impressive swing there. Lovely balance.
Now we know from the example set by Daniel Young, this tee shot on 16 is dangerous.
Yeah, this is the danger hole in the closing stretch. That one looks to have leaked out a little bit right. Oh, just into the thick stuff there. Bit of an anxious look. Hopefully someone saw that.
Hopefully Ryan Campbell's last shot from the fairway on this 18th hole up to the narrow green.
Despite that blemish on the previous hole, Young is still right in this tournament. And here, the very gettable par 5 17th. He's fired a lovely tee shot down. It got a really shooty bounce, which gave him a few extra yards. Now, as you can see, just 170 yards into this pin and downwind as well. It's only going to be a short iron to get there. And from the left-hand side, a nice angle. Once it lands on that putting surface, it's going to feed right to left. If he can get one in close here, despite that double bogey on the previous hole, he can go on and win this tournament.
Last year, Billy Hemstock captured the title, beating Dave Coupland in a sudden death playoff, and you can see another playoff. The way things are going here.
Yeah, all to play for. Oh, what a shot. Cracking shot in there with the control, just as Kit described. And that is a fantastic eagle opportunity.
Fife's second shot, 16th, out of the wispy rough. From his body language, it doesn't look as though it's super accurate. No, well out to the right.
Yeah, bailed that one out on the safe side. Shouldn't be too much of a difficult pitch back to that flag, but this one on the other hand, a little bit more delicate. Campbell, little chip in birdie, 18 maybe to finish. Oh, just needed another couple of feet. That would have had a chance.
So we saw Ross's tee shot going to pretty deep stuff, but he's given it a good old dig. Club's turned over a little bit. At least it's not lying too badly and relatively close to the edge of the green. As still the wind howls.
Every shot now is a crunch. For Ryan Campbell, this for par. Oh, that will hurt. On this back nine, he knows it's a tournament that's got away. It's going to be his 4th top 10 of the season, but that will be scant consolation.
Yeah, always tough to get across the finish line. You can see there, a couple of bogeys in the last 5. Going to prove costly. That one especially painful at the last. Now here is Ross. Short and left on 16, this tough par 4. Again, plenty of room to work with. Short game has been good. Not to give him the commentator's curse. Can he find another one? Trying to feed it in. Yeah, it's a good effort. Just about 6 feet left for par there.
Now remember, Fife struggling for par on 16. So Borden could have this for the lead, maybe.
Slippery one down the hill. Bit of break on it. Confidently done. Great birdie there.
Well, he's joint leader as it stands.
What's Fife got in his mind? Launches it up into the air. Didn't really have a lot of green to work with, as you could see from there, but an outside chance of a par.
Yeah, trying to be aggressive with that one. Now Young, magnificent shot in. This for eagle 3. Just hung it up on the high side. Bit of a power lip out and a bit of work to do for birdie.
Can Fife produce a bit of magic here? Expected it to come in, and again just a bit firm on that right lip.
Daniel Young now. This for birdie 4. Oh my goodness. Sublime second shot in to set up the eagle opportunity, and that is a 3-putt par from short range.
Wow, wow, wow. Will Ross be more reliable? He's holed plenty of those today, no doubt about it.
Yeah, short game's been solid.
on a day when it's been tough to keep up. Borden joins Ross up top, with Young and Fife just one back. Good stuff this, it really is.
Topsy-turvy, still in a bit of shock with Young's 3-putt as we watch Fife from the left side, just trying to work it in, but not too much.
Yeah, similar line, somewhat nearer. James Ross just needs to keep it just right of the pin, let the slopes on the green feed it down to the hole. Just a bit over-aggressive.
Only one thing's guaranteed. All of this is going to come down to the 18th. Tell us about it, Scott.
Yeah, here we are. 417-yard, par 4 to finish. Down the hill from an elevated tee shot, keeping it back from that water hazard, that ditch across the bottom of the fairway. Up the slope to this green. Very narrow green, or wide green, but not very deep. And a front left pin today. It's going to be pretty tricky to get one in close. Got to be spot on with your yardage.
And I think he slipped there, the back foot.
He did, yeah, a little bit of slip. Managed to save it.
This chip is going to look really straightforward on the screens, but there's actually a bit more to it than you might realise. It's very sharply downhill, and with the wind left to right, that's going to help it turn even more once it gets some pace. He's going to have to be delicate with this one. As we've already seen, if you dribble one 4 or 3 feet past this pin, there's no guarantee you're holding the one back for birdie.
But Gary, if Ross does get up and down, he's in the driver's seat.
Yeah, this is a really, really important shot, and if he plays a good one here, as you say, Phil, he's using the ground, he's hit it nicely. Come on, break, yes. Oh, look at that, that was so close. Still, I think he might have secured his birdie.
Yeah, it's very well played. Just touching the left edge of the hole, finishing where we saw Young. Try and make his birdie putt. Now Fife, aggressive up the hill. Leaves himself a downhill birdie putt. Now Borden. Second shot to 18, front left pin. Can he judge it? Can he judge the wind? No. And that is short, back down on the bank, which you can see there. That will be an awkward pitch and putt.
Really is a tricky pin because he's almost in the middle of the fairway and you can hardly see the pin there, it's so far left.
Fife now for birdie. Yeah, well done. Downhill, little left to righter. Such a short par 5 that the guys feel they have to make 4 there, if not 3.
Borden's pitch up, very good. And you can see the slope there. It's nice to see from the side just how much above him the pin actually was. Good shot.
Back on 17 though, after the quality of that chip. This should be a formality, but we've seen Young miss from virtually the same place.
Yeah, very well done. And when the wind is gusting like that, sometimes the putting can be one of the most difficult shots. It was a great up and down, and he's fully in the driver's seat now.
And this man must be reeling. Out of bounds on 16, a 3-putt from nowhere on 17, and nothing to lighten the mood on 18.
Yeah, that birdie putt just burning the edge. A disappointing closing stretch, what could have been for Daniel Young. Still a great week. Not what he was looking for.
No, not at all. No, James Ross out with the iron. It's all about finding the fairway, get it in play. Nice 3/4, little punchy follow through, Scott. Looking good.
Yeah, he's looked very solid all day. Hasn't really made any mistakes. Short games kept him right in the hunt.
And the good news for Ross, confidence-wise, he's made a birdie on this hole on both of the previous 2 days.
Yeah, well, that's a good feeling. As we watch Borden, played an exquisite little chip up to here. Taps that one in for his par. Fantastic week, great round of golf today. Superb performance from the amateur.
Yes, I think we might well hear some more of Mr. Borden in the future. Now we've got a lovely look here. Ross firing one down. Leaning a little. But the key is find the green, which he's done, although it's a long putt and a very, very big swing across that. Must be fully cricket pitch length he's going to be faced with in a minute. But in your mind, Scott, you're always at this stage, one ahead. Let me just get it on the green is what you want, isn't it?
So if Fife knocks this close, all bets are off.
Yeah, it can still happen. He's got a good look at it from here. Needs to get one in tight, put the pressure on. He's leaked it as well. Well, that's an even longer putt across this green, as Gary said. Massive break from right to left. We could still see some drama on this final green. Kit's up ahead to take a look at the putts. Tell us what's coming up.
Ross has got 40 feet for his birdie on the 18th, but it is slick, all downhill. He's probably not going to hit it much more than like a 20-foot putt. That's how fast it is, and a huge amount of break. It's going to come a long way from the right. It's hard to commit when there's this much break, and you have to hit it so gently from such range. 2 putts here, though, and every likelihood he gets his hands on the trophy.
2 putts to win. It's always a nice feeling, but he would like it to be a bit closer. But first off, here's Fife with the longer range birdie putt. Quick, massive break, very hard to judge. You can see that one just chasing on.
And so Ross now knows what he needs to do.
Yeah, maybe had a little bit of help from seeing Fife's ball run down there. Seeing it scuttle past has frightened him a little bit. He's ended up with the ball right in front of the hole, but he's still got 3 feet to negotiate.
So Fife has this for tied second with Borden.
Yeah, this is a big putt. A little bit of left to right. Yeah, well done. Very, very good putt there. Solid back 9 from Fife.
And of course, that's effectively second place alone, financially, because Borden, as an amateur, doesn't receive anything.
I think he will be picking up prize money in future. So, the nerves are jangling. Deep breath, steady. Quite a bit of swing. Oh, it's a great putt. It really is. He's played very well today. Good last round and a worthy winner. Well done, James Ross.
James, congratulations. You have won the Nokia Masters.
Yes.
How does it feel?
Kind of surreal, yeah. Just stuck to my plan, stayed patient out there, and I was surprised that I had a 1-shot lead coming down the last, but I did check, so very happy with a 2-putt. Not the easiest 2-putt in the world, so very happy.
Really tricky conditions all day. What was it you did that enabled you to come out on top?
I just didn't beat myself up, I think. The weather was pretty miserable, to be honest. It was maybe borderline, I thought, this morning that we were even going to play. But, it was fair, it just wasn't fun. And I just tried to keep it in play as best I could.
A little birdie tells me that there are wedding bells on the horizon as well. How big is that £10,000 cheque as well as the trophy for the mantelpiece?
That'll help. I'll have to buy her something nice now, I would think. So, yeah, it's 3 weeks today.
Wonderful. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks, Kit.
After a day that defined fluctuating fortunes, the trophy can be presented. Congratulations to Borden, having underlined obvious potential, and to Fife for his Europro Tour personal best. But in grandstand style, victory went to James Ross, who now vaults all the way to 11th in the updated Race to Desert Springs. Tied 12th here, his 7th consecutive top 15 result saw Richard Mansell pad his lead over Alfie Plant, with Andrew Wilson consolidating in 3rd. Next time it's the HotelPlanner.com Championship at Frilford Heath. But for now, from Mannings Heath, it's goodbye.